Hello, health seekers. Today, I want to talk about something fundamental to our health and well being nutrition, specifically, the importance of a balanced diet. We live in a world where food is abundant, yet nutritional knowledge is often lacking. Many of us grab quick meals without thinking about what our bodies truly need. But the food we eat is more than just fuel. It's the foundation of our energy, our immunity, and our long-term health. What does a balanced diet really mean? A balanced diet isn't about strict rules or depriving ourselves of the foods we love. Instead, it's about nourishing our bodies with the right mix of nutrients to function at their best. Think of your body like a high-performance car. You wouldn't fill it with low-quality fuel and expect it to run smoothly. The same goes for what we eat. At the heart of a balanced diet are three key nutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Carbohydrates are our primary energy source, found in foods like whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. They keep our brains sharp and our muscles moving. But not all carbs are created equal. Whole grains and fiber-rich foods provide steady energy, while sugary snacks lead to crashes. Proteins are the building blocks of life. They repair muscles, support our immune systems, and keep our skin, hair, and nails strong. Whether you get your protein from land meats, fish, beans, or tofu, the key is variety and quality. And then there are fats. Often misunderstood, but absolutely essential. Healthy fats, like those in avocados, nuts, and olive oil, support brain function, hormone production, and even heart health. The trick is to avoid unhealthy trans fats found in processed foods while embracing the good fats our bodies need. Beyond these macronutrients, we have vitamins and minerals. Tiny but mighty players in our health. Calcium strengthens bones, iron keeps our blood healthy, and vitamin C boosts our immunity. These micronutrients may be needed in smaller amounts, but their impact is enormous. A few years ago, I met a woman named Sarah at a wellness workshop. She was exhausted, constantly battling fatigue, headaches, and mood swings. She told me I eat healthy, just salads and protein bars. So why do I feel so terrible? When we looked closer, her healthy diet was anything but balanced. Her salads were just lettuce with dressing. No protein, no healthy fats, no fiber. Her protein bars were loaded with sugar. She was running on empty, and her body was screaming for real nourishment. We made small changes, adding grilled chicken or chickpeas to her salads, swapping sugary bars for Greek yogurt with nuts, and including whole grains like quinoa for lasting energy. Within weeks, her energy surged, her headaches vanished, and she realized healthy eating isn't about cutting things out. It's about building meals that actually feed me. Sarah's story taught me that balance isn't a diet trend. It's listening to your body and giving it what it truly needs. Why does a balanced diet matter? The benefits of eating well go far beyond just feeling good today. A balanced diet is one of the most powerful tools we have to prevent disease. Heart disease, diabetes, and even certain cancers have been linked to poor nutrition. On the flip side, eating a variety of whole foods can lower inflammation, improve cholesterol levels, and keep our blood sugar stable. But it's not just about physical health. What we eat affects our minds too. Studies show that diets rich in omega-3s, like those found in fatty fish, can improve mood and reduce symptoms of depression. B vitamins found in whole grains and leafy greens support brain function and mental clarity. When we nourish our bodies, we nourish our minds. And let's not forget weight management. So many people struggle with fad diets that promise quick fixes but leave them feeling deprived. A balanced diet, on the other hand, isn't about restriction. It's about satisfaction. Foods high in protein and fiber keep us full longer, reducing cravings and mindless snacking. When we eat well, our bodies naturally find their healthy weight. Let me tell you about my friend Jake, a collegiate runner who could log 80-mile weeks without breaking a sweat. His training was flawless interval sessions at the track, long Sunday runs, strength work twice a week. But race after race, he'd hit the wall at mile 18. His legs would turn to lead, his vision would blur, and his times kept getting slower despite training harder. After yet another disappointing marathon, his coach sat him down. "Your training log is perfect," he said, "but show me your food log." What emerged was shocking. Jake was living on energy gels, protein shakes, and whatever fast food was near campus. Breakfast was coffee and a Pop-Tart. Lunch was a foot-long sub with chips. Dinner, maybe some chicken nuggets if he remembered to eat. His coach explained, "You're trying to run a Ferrari on cheap gas." They brought in a sports nutritionist who ran some tests. Jake's iron levels were dangerously low. His glycogen stores were depleted before he even reached the starting line. His recovery was slow because his body lacked the building blocks to repair muscle damage. The transformation began with 3 simple changes. A real breakfast of eggs, oatmeal, and berries instead of caffeine and sugar. Properly timed recovery meals with carbs and protein after workouts. Hydration with electrolytes, not just water. The results, within 3 months, Jake PR'd by 12 minutes. But more importantly, he said, "I finally understand what strong feels like." No more afternoon crashes. No more dead legs on easy runs. His sleep improved. His focus sharpened. Even his mood stabilized. Here's the kicker: Jake wasn't some recreational jogger. He was an elite athlete who thought nutrition was just fuel. But when he started treating food as the foundation of performance, everything changed. His coach put it best: training breaks you down. Food builds you back stronger. This isn't just about running faster. It's about understanding that every meal is either moving you toward your goals or away from them. Whether you're a weekend warrior or an Olympic hopeful, your plate is the most important piece of equipment you own. Because you can't outtrain a bad diet, but with the right nutrition, you can surpass limits you never thought possible. But how can we make it happen? Now I know what some of you might be thinking. This sounds great, but how do I actually do it? The good news is that eating a balanced diet doesn't have to be complicated. Start by filling half your plate with fruits and vegetables. The more colorful, the better. Add a serving of lean protein, whether that's chicken, fish, beans, or tofu. Then include a portion of whole grains like brown rice or quinoa. And don't forget healthy fats. A drizzle of olive oil or a handful of nuts can make all the difference. Small changes add up. Swap sugary drinks for water or herbal tea. Choose whole grain bread instead of white. Snack on nuts and yogurt instead of chips. These simple swaps can have a big impact over time. Let me tell you about the humbling moment that transformed my relationship with food. 3 years ago, after another long day at work, I stood in my kitchen staring at a pile of wilted groceries I'd bought with such optimism on Sunday. The zucchini had turned to mush. The chicken smelled questionable. And my meal prep consisted of a single sad Tupperware of quinoa that looked more like a science experiment than dinner. Frustrated, I grabbed my phone and ordered takeout. Again. As I waited for my 3rd pizza that week, it hit me. I kept reading about balanced diets, but my reality was a cycle of good intentions and takeout containers. I was stuck between knowing what to do and actually doing it. Nutrition isn't just about individual choices. It's also about access and education. Many people live in food deserts where fresh, healthy food is hard to find. Others grew up with cultural traditions that may not align with modern dietary guidelines. The key is to find balance, not perfection. And let's remember, food is meant to be enjoyed. A balanced diet isn't about guilt or deprivation. It's about making choices that help us feel our best while still savoring the meals we love. The turning point came when I decided to approach meal planning like I would any other project, with strategy and self-compassion. Well, here's what changed. I started blocking 2 hours every Sunday not just to cook, but to prepare to cook. Wash and chop veggies so they were ready when hunger struck. Hard boil a dozen eggs for quick protein. Cook a big batch of grains that could become stir-fries, bowls, or salads. Portion out snacks like nuts and cut fruit. Instead of aiming for perfection, I followed my nutritionist friend's advice. Eat well 80% of the time and don't stress about the 20%. When I traveled for work, I'd pack almonds and protein bars so airport food wasn't my only option. When friends wanted pizza, I enjoyed it guilt-free. Then made sure my next meal was packed with veggies. What surprised me most wasn't the physical changes, though I did lose the constant bloating and afternoon crashes. It was how much time and money I saved. Those frantic "what's for dinner" moments disappeared. My grocery bills went down because I wasn't wasting food. I even started looking forward to my Sunday cooking sessions, turning on a podcast and finding flow in the rhythm of chopping and stirring. Last month, my niece came to visit and saw my fridge stocked with prepped ingredients. "Wow, you're so disciplined," she said. I laughed. It's not discipline. It's self-defense. Future me is always grateful when past me does the work. The lesson, balance, isn't about willpower. It's about setting up systems that make healthy choices the easy choices. Because when you're tired, stressed, or busy, and when aren't we, that's when your kitchen should work for you, not against you. So when people ask me how to start eating better, I don't talk about diets. I ask, how can you make your future self's life easier? Because small, smart preparations today create effortless, healthy choices tomorrow. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. This conversation about food isn't really about food at all. It's about power. The power to take control of your health in a world that's constantly trying to sell you quick fixes and shortcuts. The power to show up as your best self for the people who depend on you. The power to write a different story than the one our broken food system is trying to hand you. I want you to imagine something with me. Picture a single mom working 2 jobs. She's exhausted, the kids are hungry, and there's a McDonald's on every corner offering a meal for less than it costs to buy broccoli at her local bodega. Now tell me, is her struggle with nutrition really about willpower? Or is it about a system that makes junk food cheaper and more accessible than real food? This is why we can't talk about healthy eating without talking about food deserts. Neighborhoods where fresh produce is harder to find than a lottery ticket. Without talking about how our government subsidizes the very crops, corn, soy, wheat, that become the processed foods making us sick. Without talking about how food companies spend billions engineering products to be addictive, then blame consumers for lacking self-control. But here where it gets powerful. Every time you choose a whole food over a packaged one, you're voting with your dollar. Every time you teach a child to cook, you're breaking a generational cycle. Every time you share a meal prep tip with a coworker, you're building community immunity against this broken system. I've seen the ripple effects firsthand. When my friend Marcus started bringing his meal-prepped lunches to the construction site, his crew mocked him. Until they saw he had energy when they were crashing. Now 5 of them carpool to Costco every Sunday to split bulk groceries. That's how movements start. Not with legislation, but with lunchboxes. This is about more than your waistline. It's about nurses staying sharp through double shifts because they're properly fueled. Students acing exams because their brains aren't fogged by sugar crashes. grandparents playing with grandkids instead of being sidelined by preventable diseases. The most radical thing you can do in this processed food world is to nourish yourself on purpose. Not perfectly, progressively. Because when you change your plate, you change your energy. When you change your energy, you change your work. When you change your work, you change your community. And when we change our communities, that's when we change the dam system. So yes, chop those vegetables. Pack those lunches. Fight for better school lunches and urban gardens and honest food labeling. But most of all, remember, every bite is a chance to vote for the world you want to live in. And that's power no corporation can take from you. They want us tired, hungry, and reaching for the quick fix. But we're going to be too busy cooking, thriving, and passing down recipes that heal instead of harm. That's how we win. So as we go forward, let's think differently about what we eat. Let's see food not just as something to fill us up, but as the foundation of our health, our energy, and our future. A balanced diet isn't a short-term fix. It's a lifelong commitment to feeling strong, vibrant, and alive. I thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, and do all those lovely things you wonderful people do. I'll see you next time.